Hello friends, welcome. In this video I will continue with the further study of UNCLOS. I will cover the meaning of continental shelf, archipelagic waters, fishery zone, various details of the innocent passage, and finally the difference between continental shelf and the exclusive economic zone. So let's get started. The continental shelf of a coastal state comprises the seabed and the subsoil of the submarine areas that extends beyond its territorial sea throughout the natural prolongation of its land territory to the outer edge of the continental margin, all to a distance of 200 nautical miles from the baseline, from which the breadth of the territorial sea is measured. And this 200 nautical miles distance is considered where the outer edge of the continental margin does not extend up to that distance. The continental margin comprises the submerged prolongation of the landmass of the coastal state and consists of the seabed and subsoil of the shelf, the slope and the rise. It does not include deep water floor with its oceanic ridge or the subsoil thereof. Thus, the continental shelf may extend well beyond 200 nautical miles from the baseline up to a maximum of 350 nautical miles, as it depends on the topography and depth of the ocean bed in that area. The continental shelf does not form a territory of the coastal state. It is a resource zone where the coastal state may use it for natural resources like mineral oil. The coastal state can also build, maintain and operate artificial islands or oil rigs for the exploration of the zone, and it will also exercise exclusive jurisdiction over custom, financial, health, safety, and immigration law over such artificial islands. Safety zones of not more than 500 meters around the installation will be marked for safety of navigation around these installations. Let's understand a bit about the difference between the exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. In the exclusive economic zone, the coastal state has right over the water column and also the seabed and subsoil, while in the continental shelf, the sovereign right is only over the subsoil and the seabed. You may also say that in continental shelf, you have right over the non-living objects, while in the exclusive economic zone, the coastal state can exercise control over the living things like fish, etc. Talking about the fish, there is a term called fishery zone in UNCLOS. The traditional fishery zone, called the inland fishery zone, can extend up to 12 nautical miles from the baseline. However, as per UNCLOS, this can extend up to 200 nautical miles, in which a coastal state may exercise exclusive fishing rights, and any vessel which is entering the extended fishing zone must observe the local and fishing regulations which are in force. Next term in UNCLOS is archipelagic waters. These are the waters which have been given special status by UNCLOS due to their natural resources, but this status is only applicable for mid-ocean states having one or more archipelago, example Fiji, Lakshadweep, etc. Archipelagic state means a state constituted wholly by one or more archipelago and may include other islands. Archipelago means a group of islands, including parts of islands, interconnecting waters, and other natural features which are so closely interrelated they form an intrinsic geographical, economic, and political entity. Archipelagic water are considered same as the territorial sea of the nation with respect to power of the coastal state, but the coastal state has additional duties regarding access to fishing grounds and other legal activities, like laying maintenance of submarine cables. To include the natural flora and fauna in these waters, the baseline may be extended, thus including the internal waters of the archipelago state. Foreign flag vessels have the right of innocent passage through the archipelagic waters. So basically, water around the islands is considered archipelagic waters. Islands are always beautiful, which requires protection from the human invasion. Thus, the baseline is extended to increase the internal waters. In internal waters, the foreign vessel does not have the right to innocent passage. Thus, the natural flora and fauna is protected in these waters. And of course, if there is a larger lane available, more space available, then the foreign vessels have right of innocent passage. Let's talk about the right of innocent passage now. So under UNCLOS, ships of all states, whether coastal or landlocked, enjoy the right of innocent passage through the territorial sea. Now innocent passage has two terms, one is innocent, one is passage. Let's understand what the passage means. It simply means navigation through the territorial sea. Either you are navigating because you want to enter the port facility, which is within the internal waters, or you have no intention of entering the internal waters, you are just passing. In both cases, that is considered a passage. And other requirement of a passage is that it should be continuous and expeditious. However, the passage does include stopping, anchoring that is required for ordinary navigation, or which may be necessary by force majeure or distress, or for the purpose of rendering assistance to someone. Now that the term passage has opened a wide variety of options to a navigator, let's understand what does the innocent means. So the innocent passage, as the name itself suggests, it is something which is not prejudicial, basically harmful to the peace, good order or security of the coastal state. Such passage shall take place in conformity with the convention and with the other rules of the international law. Passage of a foreign ship shall be considered to be prejudicial to the peace and good order or security of the coastal state if in the territorial sea it engages in any of the following activities. And there are 12 points which cover all this, and it can be categorized into 3 broad categories. So if someone comes to a coastal state and messes with their defense system, or with their present rules and regulations, or the environment of the coastal state, then that is considered not innocent. So here are the defense related points. So if someone uses threat or use of force against the sovereignty, territorial integrity, or political independence of a coastal state, or if someone is exercising or practicing with weapons of any kind, if someone is collecting information to prejudice the defense or security of the coastal state, or there is any act of propaganda aimed at affecting the defense or security of the coastal state, if there is launching, landing or taking on board any aircraft, the launching, landing or taking on board any military device, or if there is an act aimed at interfering with any system of communication or other facilities or installation of the coastal state, or someone carries out the research or survey activities. So these 8 points so far cover the defense related points. Then in the prejudicial to system, if someone is loading or unloading any commodity, currency or person contrary to the custom, fiscal, immigration or sanitary law and regulation of the coastal state. And finally, the last 3 points about the environment, if there is an act of willful and serious pollution contrary to the convention, or if someone is carrying out fishing activities which is not allowed, or they are doing any activity which does not have a direct bearing on the passage. Thus, to easily remember, there are 8 defense points, 1 on the system and 3 about the environment. Also note that in territorial seas, the submarines and other underwater vehicles are required to navigate on the surface and to show their flag. I will cover more about UNCLOS in my next video. I hope this was a useful video to you. If you have any feedback, suggestion or comment, then please do write down below. All the best for your exams, and as always, thank you for watching.